So in the last lecture we learned how to create a form in the React, and now we will learn that when we submit the form, ultimately this data will go to the server side page, and that server side page will push that data into the MongoDB database. Now we will create a database in the MongoDB, and for this we will have to go to the MongoDB website. So the URL for the MongoDB website is mongodb.com, or sign in into the website. So all of us, we made account in the on the MongoDB. So I'm going with my account. I give my username and I give my password and I log in into the MongoDB. For creating a database in the MongoDB, we have to follow certain steps. The first thing we have to do is create a project here. So for this, I will come to the projects and I will create a new project. Let me give it a name, Project Student Information System App, and click on create project. So right now you can see that my current project is Project Student Information System App, and in this I will have to create a deployment in which I will choose certain things like cloud provider, region and specs. So let's go ahead and create our deployment. So while creating this, we have to create a cluster, and we will choose the free option and click on the free option. Then provider, leave the default setting, region, leave the default setting, and just name the cluster here. So I'll name the cluster here as student cluster and just click create and follow the instructions here. These images have the car. We have, this is my account and this is my project. And now to access data stored in Atlas, you will need to create users and set up network security credentials. So I will set the username and password for accessing the database. So I'll choose here username and password, and here I give the username. Let's say I give it admin, and password, let me give it admin12345, and I create a user. And then you can click finish and close. Okay, now go to the overview. So now in this cluster, this is the cluster I just created. In this, I will have to add my data. That means I will have to create my database and some collections. So let me click here, add data, and choose the first option, create database on Atlas. Start. And let me give the name of the database. So let's say name of the database, student DB. And let me create one collection. Collection is just like what you call a table in the relational database systems. So let me give it name student infos. So database student DB and collection or table name student infos, in which I will store the information for the students, and click here create database. So if you see here, now my project is project student information system app, and inside this I have a cluster, student cluster. Inside this cluster I have a database, student DB, and inside this I have a collection, student infos. So if you see inside the student infos or this collection or this table, it has no data. Okay, so I will create the schema for this table or collection in the server file. Okay, what we call it model. I will create a model, and in that model we will create the schema of the table, and we will map that schema with this table. Okay, so unlike your phpMyAdmin where you create the schema within the phpMyAdmin, here we will do it in a separate file. And for connecting to this database, we will need a connection string, just like we use a connection string in PHP MySQL. For getting the connection string, we have to go to the overview in the student cluster, and then we will click on the connect. And since we want our application to connect to this database, so we will choose the first option, connect to application. So if you click here and you specify, so we are working on Node.js application, and we will have to add this connection string to our page. So we will come to this connection string. We will see how we will have to copy this connection string in our Node.js program. and we will come later on and copy this connection string. So right now I've just created a database here. So this is all about creating the database on the MongoDB, and we will learn later on in the next lecture how to create the schema for this collection or table, and how to map this table with that schema.